Hi, this is Adam Kunzmiller with BoardGameGeek at Gen Con 2016, and I'm joined by Rob Davio with Plaid Hat Games, and we're here to talk about SeaFall, a big project of yours.
Very big.
Yes, so tell us about SeaFall.
Very ambitious. Colby, head of Plaid Hat, said when he was looking at this the other day, he's like, I'm not sure I've ever seen a more ambitious board game. Which means it has a, hopefully I've walked the tightrope and I'm delivering what I set out to deliver. No, I thought of this idea about 4 years ago when I left Hasbro. And I had done Risk Legacy, and I'm like, I'm going to do another Legacy game. And what I wanted to do was a game, you can't really see it because I've covered it, where a lot of the board was empty. It's a world waiting to be explored.
Okay.
And having done Risk Legacy, I thought I knew what I was doing, but to create a whole game from scratch.
You had no idea.
I had no idea. I made so many wonderful mistakes, which I've talked about over podcasts, and I couldn't be happier that it's finally out. And a lot of the playtesters who played the last version were saying that they couldn't wait, which means I think I set out to do what I did what I set out to do. It was great. My wife is here. She's been to Gen Con a lot, but my kids are here for the first time. So they were standing in the booth as people were coming through, and they're like, Dad, you did it. So if nothing else, I had that moment, which has just been fantastic.
So I'm sure there have been a lot of us that know nothing more than the name of this game.
Yes.
Why don't you walk us through what's happening in SeaFall?
Okay, the very short version is it's Indiana Jones in the 17th century.
I'm sold.
Okay, so it's swashbuckling adventure. Now, it doesn't necessarily start out that way. We got a prologue game, which is going to be a little bit to teach you the mechanics. There's no real permanent changes to the board or legacy, so if you screw up, you're not going to be out of the campaign. But the general idea is that you control a province. Let me see if I can put that right here. So you control a province. This will be your board. Unlike Risk Legacy or unlike Pandemic Legacy, this is you. If you pick blue, you're blue for the rest of the campaign. You don't have to play in every game.
Sure.
And there's a little bit of a catch up. Oh, I had to work late. I missed a game or two. All right, we'll catch you up a bit. So this province has your 2 ships. It's got some fields, and this province is slowly going to improve through time. I've got a sheet here. Different things will improve on it. So although all the provinces start the same, they will start to diversify through gameplay.
Okay.
And you are the leader of this province. So you'll have that board, and then more importantly, what you see on the board most of the time is you have 2 ships that will go around the world. This is the ocean. And will explore, raid, trade, and build things. Okay. That's the basic idea. You got 4 guilds that will work for you. So in the game, the object is to get the most glory. There's a target for glory. You get glory by not sinking. Doing something great and not sinking, right? Just sailing to a place and not sinking. It's not really
something great and living to tell the tale.
Yeah, it's not really like, that's not glory. That's just competence. But if you explore a place or you raid a place and your ships don't sink, you get glory. Also, anytime you, I didn't punch them out, buy something in cardboard, like make your ships better or build a building, you get glory. Okay. And then there are milestones which are here, which are sort of these great moments in the history of your world, which will give you lots of glory.
And it looks like, as you explore more, we're going to have these stickers.
Yeah, we're kind of giving away. There's, you can see that there's islands here that you'll find. They're not there yet.
Sure.
The beginning of the game says that you're different provinces of a long sundered empire, and you sort of crawled back into competence after a long dark age. And you've seen these islands out on the sea that have these 4 different goods that you don't really have on the mainland. So it's this age of trade, it's this age of exploration, it's this age of imperialism and colonization is sort of set off. And the game tells you right from the beginning, after you reach the end of the world right out here and you find the island at the end of the world, whoever has the most glory accumulated between all the games becomes the emperor or empress and reunites the provinces. Okay. So it is this ongoing, very competitive game to outshine all of your other players.
Got it. And how long does a single session take?
Is somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours.
And roughly how many sessions would you expect to get out of the
15.
game? Okay.
There is in the game, let's see if I can get that on camera. Do I have it the right way? These are your province boxes that you will put your ships and your cards in, and then these are 6 sealed boxes. These will slowly open up like a legacy game and give you new rules, new cards, new surprises. These are opened up by milestones. It'll say right on the milestone, unlock, which means you're unlocking a treasure chest. So it takes on average about 15 2-hour games to complete it.
And you had mentioned earlier, which really intrigued me, that it's possible for one of the players to miss a session entirely and still not be out of the game, still be involved.
Yeah, there's rules in the back that tell you what to do if someone misses, a couple games. Now, it's about 15 games.
Sure.
If you're not going for the unlock milestones, it might be 16, it might be 17. If you're really pushing for the story, it might be 13, but 15 is a good rule of thumb. if someone's going to miss 7 out of 15, then maybe
Then
they
what's the
should
point, right?
What's the point? Drop out. But people are working, people get sick, people
Sure.
have to, it's like, and they miss a game. It just says they basically get some glory.
Yeah.
It's like they came in last in the game before by a point. So it's definitely a setback, but it's not insurmountable.
Insurmountable, right.
The last playtest I played, there were 4 people. They played all the way through after 15 games. I think the person in first place had like 208 glory, and the person in last had like 192.
Oh, wow.
So,
Very close.
hopefully your campaign stays this close, because there's various ways to try to catch you up in the game, and there's always sudden moments. These milestones will give you maybe towards the end like 8 glory in one go, as opposed to 1 or 2 or 3.
And it supports 4 or 5 players?
It supports, on the box it says 3 to 5. I never tested it with 2 because I was dumb.
Okay.
I see no reason why it wouldn't work with 2, but what happens is these resources and these sites are sort of fixed, so with 5 people, you're gonna have friction. People are gonna steal from each
A
other.
little too open with 2 players, do you think?
With 3 players, you don't need to. You can, if you want. With 2 players, you could never have any player versus player if you don't want to. It would be just an engine building race.
Right.
But I see no reason why it wouldn't work with 2. It's perfectly fine.
And I know that this was, copies of this were going like gangbusters on this first day here at Gen Con. When will this be more widely available?
About 6 weeks, 6-8 weeks. So like end of September is what I think. Colby was going to check and confirm for me.
Sure.
But I think it's being loaded onto ships now, so then it has to come across the ocean, has to go through the Panama Canal, go through customs, get to the distributor, and then get into retail. So I want to say September, might be October, but I don't really know. I've made it, and I want it to have as many people who want it to have it as soon as possible.
So do you feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders seeing this like fully realized after working on it for so long?
I have a weight off of one shoulder.
One shoulder.
When I see some reviews, right, that say this was
Hopefully that will lift the weight off the other
if the reviews are this was worth the wait, I'll feel good. If it was I waited 4 years for this, then all that weight comes crumbling down on top of me.
Then the weight starts to break the back
It breaks the back a little bit. No, I like it. I mean, this is a game that I made. I was a huge D&D player growing up. I was a huge adventurer, like just stories, games that told a story, stories that looked like games. This is sort of a tribute to that 12, 13-year-old self. It doesn't mean it's for 12 or 13-year-olds, but this is a game exactly that would have got me excited. It took a little while, but it's really for the kid in me. There's some exciting, unexpected twists and turns that you should be able to find in there.
Well, thank you very much, Rob, for taking us through SeaFall from Plaid Hat Games. Awesome.